At last, with the help of 2 towels and 15 minutes with the hand dryer, Sarah could just about sit down at a table without squelching. The walk from the loo to the table had been less than silent, however. Her boots had expelled damp air, making little farting noises each time her foot met the floor. The cafe owner had been really lovely and insisted on giving Sarah coffee and freshly made carrot cake on the house. She'd also taken Sarah's coat and put it on the radiator through the back of the shop. The nasty, laugh-out-loud customers had left shortly after Sarah had walked in, and most people had smiled kindly or ignored her predicament. Wrapping her hands around the big mug of coffee, Sarah relished the heat seeping into her chilled fingers. She sipped it as quickly as the scalding liquid would allow, feeling it melt a warm, comforting path to her tummy. "Feeling better now, hon?" Karen asked, her head tilted to one side. "Getting there, Ta." Sarah looked across the table at Karen. Immaculate as usual. Even though it was the middle of December and pissing down with rain, Karen always looked absolutely stunning. A cross between Angelina Jolie and Julia Roberts was how Sarah's neighbour had described her recently when she'd seen Karen giving Sarah a lift home. Sarah reckoned that she herself was average to fair on a good day, but right now, people would describe her as a cross between Vicky Pollard and a loo brush. They'd known each other since school and met once a month on a Saturday afternoon, regular as clockwork. Today, mindful of the fact she was the wrong side of 30 and feeling a bit dowdy, Sarah had bought new clothes and had her mousy blonde hair highlighted and restyled. Just this once, Sarah had wanted to feel attractive and make an impression when she met up with the glamorous Karen. Well, she certainly made an impression, hadn't she? Yep, an impression that she'd been hit with an ugly stick. "I can't believe this awful weather lately," Karen frowned. "I think we'll need to build an ark soon." "We do live in Sheffield, Karen, and it is December. What do you expect?" "Okay, no need to get stroppy. It's not my fault you got drenched, is it?" "No, sorry. I'll be all right when I've had a sugar fix." Sarah sighed and dug her fork into the cake. She couldn't help noticing that all the male customers, while ostensibly chatting to their wives or girlfriends, kept sliding little surreptitious glances at Karen. Their eyes seemed to be attached by invisible threads to Karen's eyes, mouth, breasts, and legs, though not necessarily in that order. Karen appeared oblivious to their worship, banging on about work and who said what to whom. But Sarah noticed Karen tossing her hair once or twice and licking cappuccino traces from her lips with a slow tongue. Never mind, Sarah told herself. At least she had a husband who loved her. Poor Karen had a series of broken relationships as long as your arm. Even though she was such a lovely person, for some reason men didn't stay around. Perhaps they couldn't hack the constant predatory threat of other roaming males. Sarah had once moaned to Neil that she always felt self-conscious when she met up with Karen. Neil had said all the right things.
"That's rubbish. Yes, I guess she's pretty, but she's not my type. I have the perfect woman right here."
Sarah was not naive enough to believe she was the perfect woman, but it helped to know that he thought she was.
"This carrot cake is delicious. In fact, I might get another piece. Want some?"
Karen asked, pushing her plate away. Sarah shook her head and pulled a face. "Another piece? You're throwing caution to the wind, aren't you?" She laughed. Karen watched her calorie intake very carefully as a rule, hence the svelte figure.
"You only live once."
Karen stood, inched her way between the table and chairs, and walked to the counter. Sarah nearly choked on her coffee. She couldn't believe it. She'd been too preoccupied getting dry to notice anything before, but she could swear she'd seen a roll of fat when Karen's tummy had been at eye level. And she was getting more cake.